Hi, today I thought I would bring to you some of my Disney books. I recently started reorganizing and noticed that I had quite the collection. So I wanted to share some with you. Maybe there's some books that you didn't even know existed or some books that you think might interest you. So I thought I'd share. If you're not into books, then you can just go ahead and check out the link that I have above instead. No worries there. But if you really like Disney and are interested in learning some more about some different aspects, then stick around and hopefully you find something that you haven't heard of before that you might like to check out. I'm going to start with probably one of the first books that I ever bought, and it's called The Imagineering Way. And it is a book that really just talks about, different ways that Disney Imagineers came up with some ideas, and it's really kind of inspirational. I love to write, and this has different ideas to kind of spark your creativity. I don't really know if this is still available. This book was originally published in 2005, 2003. So I don't know if this is still out there. If it is, I will link it. I will link any of the books down below if you can still get them. That way you don't have to search for anything. I'll put them down below if they are still available for you. But I really like that book. Then this other one, The Imagineering Workout, I got around the same time, and it also has different ways to kind of get your creative juices flowing, and some tips from different Imagineers at Disney. Kind of going along the same path, I have a set of books by Disney Imagineer Marty Sklar, and his book Dream It, Do It, about his journey with Walt Disney and as a Disney Imagineer. The follow-up book, One Little Spark. And then Travels with Figment. This is the most recent one that I purchased in this series. I have not read this yet. And some of the books I have not read yet. I have them to go through. I just haven't necessarily read everything yet. But if you have questions about any of the books, please add that to the comments and I'll be happy to answer it to the best of my ability. Alrighty. I have Still Along the Imagineering Trek, which if you haven't seen yet, I really like Walt Disney Imagineering. I have John Hench, Designing Disney. And one thing I like about this book a lot is it refers to the art of the show. Everything at Disney is a show. You're on stage. When you're at the parks, the guests are on stage, the cast members are on stage, and this really kind of goes through that part of Disney that I like. It's a really great book, especially if you kind of like behind the scenes aspects to the parks. This would be a great book. One of my favorite books, Haunted Mansion, Imagineering, a Disney Classic by Jason Sorrell. Haunted Mansion is probably one of my top favorite attractions, if not the top. I don't like saying which one's my favorite. I'm afraid I'm like missing one if I just say, oh, it's just Haunted Mansion. But Haunted Mansion is an absolute must-do every time I go to Magic Kingdom. And I really enjoy this book because you're looking at Haunted Mansion, Disneyland's Haunted Mansion, which is the original Magic Kingdom's Haunted Mansion. You get a chance to take a look at different haunted mansions and the design aspect, a little bit of differences between haunted mansions, Tokyo Disneyland, so the Phantom Manor. You get to look at a bunch of different haunted mansions, a little bit of behind the scenes information, a little bit of backstory, and kind of, if you're a Haunted Mansion fan, it's a really great book. Keeping with the theme, Walt Disney's Imagineering Legends. I really enjoy reading about anything that is about connections to Walt Disney himself. So Imagineers or animators, people that worked directly with Walt Disney. I really kind of like, it feels like a trip down memory lane, or, you know, that it was not my memory, of course, but you get to see a little bit of, you know, that beginning of it all, really. So if you're interested in seeing things about different early Imagineers, this is a great book. I recently got 2 new books and I have not read them yet. So it's kind of a cute story by Rolly Crump. And he, again, one of Walt Disney's Imagineers from one of the originals. So again, taking you back in time, and just getting a chance to look at his contributions to the Walt Disney Company. I was like, I definitely needed to have this. Gives you some picture of him before. So that one I still haven't read yet. I can't wait to read that. One of the most recent books I got is Women of Walt Disney Imagineering. I have not read this yet. I really like that they have sectioned out some of the women of Walt Disney Imagineering. Of course, it's not all of the women. I like how they have sectioned it out because, you know, back when Walt first started his company, I mean, it was mostly men. Not that there weren't women that were employed with him, but really, I mean, if you look at the Imagineering Legends and most of the books that I've shown you so far, it's a lot of men, even though in Legends, I think there's women, but I can't remember. I'll put that in the comments if there is. But, you know, John Hench, we've got Rolly Crump. But this women, I really like that it is devoted to women of Walt Disney Imagineering. So I cannot wait to read this. It is on the top of my list to read. I've got a lot of books to read. One of my biggest, oldest books is Walt Disney Imagineering. I don't know if you can still get this book or not, but it was one of the ones that I first got, and I cannot stop looking through it. I always look through it. I like has renderings of some different characters from the parks. It shows you some of the sketches and ideas. They might not have all come to fruition, but ideas as they were building different parts of the parks. And I really like taking this, again, behind the scenes journey through some of the details that go into making the parks what we know them as today. And the next book is Walt Disney Imagineering, a behind the dreams look at making more magic real. And it just continues where the other one left off. Again, giving you this behind the scenes look at building different attractions, building different aspects to the parks. And I really, really like both of those books. I also like how they're big. So like the pictures are big in them. It really gives you a chance to really look at some things that you might not get to see all the time. This is one of my favorites. I think I probably said that about almost everything, but Inside the Dream. And this is the story of Walt Disney. So just taking a look back at his life, taking a look at his journey with the, you know, how he came to be. And so that's one of those things that, well, I mean, if you're a Disney fan, then, you know, you kind of want to know his journey. And there's some things in here that you know, are different than what you always see like on different documentaries and stuff. It's kind of really takes you through the whole thing. I really like that book. Actually, looking at it again, I haven't read through it in a while, and I definitely want to get back through that. That's not all. There's more. This next set is really kind of random stuff. I think a lot of these came from like other people. They gave me books because they know I like Disney. Little known facts about well-known places, Walt Disney World. It just has, like the title says, different facts. Like, for example, how many cast members might be employed by the company. Now, of course, that would be to when the book was published. So this was a while ago, so it's not necessarily completely up to date and accurate, but it's still kind of neat. Some of the, for example, facts that are listed, it's really, you know, it's just kind of neat to look through. Again, it might be outdated at this point. I mean, not maybe. I'm sure it absolutely 100% is outdated at this point, but it's still kind of neat to look through. Quotable Walt Disney. I like looking at a lot of his quotes, and this book is kind of neat because it's sectioned by types of quotes. He talks about Mickey Mouse when he was talking about the parks, which most of the quotes are about Disneyland, but if you read the quotes, they can still kind of apply to Walt Disney World at the same time. On success and failure, on children, young and old. So a lot of different quotes by Walt Disney and the full quotes. So sometimes, let's see if I can pull one real quick. People are familiar with like a portion of a quote, but they may not know the full quote. I don't know if I can pull one. Let's see. All right. So an Epcot quote, it's not a super famous one, but Epcot is like the city of tomorrow ought to be. That's like the main quote, but the rest of it is a city that caters to the people as a service function. It will be planned, controlled community, a showcase for American industry and research, schools, cultural and educational opportunities. So it gives you like the quotes, and then it gives you some more details about the quotes too. Like that one. I have the Disneyland Encyclopedia, which gives you a little bit of the history of the park up to the point that this was published. So not the full history because I've had this for a while, but it gives you some history of Disneyland, which I like. I've been there a few times, but mostly Walt Disney World is where I go. The Hidden Magic of Walt Disney World Trivia. And it's fun kind of looking through that and seeing what I already know, what I didn't know. So that's kind of cool. Then I got another Haunted Mansion book, The Unauthorized Story of Walt Disney's Haunted Mansion. I have not actually read through this one yet. This one was a gift, but I have a lot of books to read. So there's some that I just haven't gotten to. This is one of my favorites because it is something that I always look forward to anytime I'm at Walt Disney World. And this is called Main Street Windows. And it tells you about the windows on Main Street, USA. Who the windows are honoring, because the windows are honoring people that have been part of Disneyland and then also Walt Disney World. So kind of, you know, tells you who the different windows were honoring, and because some of them are clear, if you found Walt Disney's window, well, he has a couple windows, but if you found his windows, then you know you realize they're Walt Disney's windows, but you might not realize who all of the different people that they're honoring are. So that's kind of a neat book. Then I have the Revised Vault of Walt by Jim Corcus. He is a Disney historian and has some different kinds of stories in here. So they're unofficial. it actually says, it includes 5 new, unofficial, unauthorized, uncensored Disney stories never told. I have not read this full book, but Jim Corcus is great, and so it is kind of neat, you know, learning a little bit of history. And then, wow, I've had this one for a long time. Dave Smith, Disney's A to Z. It's like an encyclopedia, if any of you know what that is anymore, because gosh, that's an old term. But it just kind of gives you different things, like different characters, movies, and like different films that you can see Donald Duck in. It gives you a whole bunch of information, and you know, just little blips. It doesn't have every single thing under the sun. I think it would have to be much bigger for that, but it does give you a lot of information. Oh, wow. Totally forgot about these. I have 2 more books. I just recently bought like 5 new books. There was the Women of Walt Disney Imagineering. It's kind of a cute story. There's one I'm missing. I don't know which one that is. And then these 2 that I have here. So I have Magic Journey, My Fantastical Walt Disney Imagineering Career by Kevin Rafferty. And again, another Imagineer kind of talking about his journey through, you know, getting hired in the company. And I have just barely started that, if you can see. Barely started that, but I do, I love my Disney Imagineers. And then this one people kept recommending this, so I haven't read it yet. I think I've said that a lot. But I have The Ride of a Lifetime by Bob Iger. And he's not an Imagineer, so I don't know how it fits into all my stuff. But, you know, Disney, CEO of the Walt Disney Company. I'm looking forward to reading it. Just seeing somebody that's not an Imagineer and their perspective on the company and their experience through the company, I thought might be an interesting read. And I've heard that it's good. If you've read it, let me know in the comments what you thought of that book, because I heard a lot of good things, just haven't read it yet. I'll still read it even if you say you didn't like it. I just still want to know what it's like, but that's what I have. And then finally, one of my favorite little tiny collection is the collection of the Imagineering Field Guide to the Parks. I am really sad that they don't put these out anymore, that they haven't updated them in forever, because I really like these little tiny books. I'll show you a little bit. I'll try to do a little video that I'll insert. Hopefully it'll be easier to see. But they have all of this information about the parks. They have some little details of the attractions and some things about, you know, sometimes it's like a little hidden secret or little fact. But I like the size of them. It is something that I used to carry to the parks with me so that we could look at the different things about the attractions and see if we could learn something new, like while we were waiting in line. It's just something to pass the time when you're waiting in line. And I'm sad that they haven't updated it yet. Well, I don't even think they're going to, so I say yet. But in a very long time. I really like these cute little books. And then finally, I know I have one more book. I just don't know where I put it. I got a new book and it's about the history of like adventure, like the Adventurers Club. I will put a picture in right here if I find it. If you have read any of these books and you can't recommend them enough, or you want to talk to me about a favorite part, please put that down in the comments. I would love to hear what you thought of any of these books if you read them. If you have not read any of the books, and you are interested in more questions, or you have any questions about them, just let me know in the comments. Or if there's any book that you wouldn't recommend, tell me why. I'd love to know why you didn't like it, or why you wouldn't recommend it for someone to get. Alright, if you followed me all the way to the end here, thank you very much for watching. You must love Disney books just about as much as me, and it's good to find like-minded people. And I will see you next time. Go out and find your magic. Bye-bye.